Hello and welcome to this video where I will be covering the LEC and LCS in my League of Legends Roundup. Every day I cover the four major regions, give you notes on the key moments of each game so you don't have to go back and watch it yourself, as well as I do power rankings, so each team has a ranking on this board, and I give out an MVP for each game, which I think I'll incorporate into something later in the season. The first game of today was between Rogue and Misfits. Misfits came out firing, ganking mid twice to create an advantage for Vethio. However, Rogue would answer by ganking top and putting Odo Omne ahead, as well as getting multiple 2v2 kills in the bot lane, which they then would follow up with a dive that was 2-0 as well. So by 10 minutes, Rogue was up 5-3, 1k gold, and Trimby was 2-0-2. Misfits would answer by taking a mountain, as well as then taking a Chemtech Drake. But in the middle of that, Odo Omne was putting Harit behind significantly by soloing, killing him. And by 20 minutes, Rogue was up 6-4 and 2.5k gold. The first significant fight of this game happened at 22 minutes, where Rogue took the Cloud Drake 4-1, and Odo Omne and Comp both had a double kill. They would then turn that into a Baron, which the Baron turned into a 7.5k power play. And I think you know what I'm getting at. Rogue then took a Drake. Excuse me. By 30 minutes now, Rogue was up 12-7. Comp was the carry at 4-1-6 with a 6.5k gold lead. Misfits would then answer in their own way by getting a Baron at 33 minutes, trying to force it. In which case, Rogue won 4-0 in that fight afterwards, killing most of them, and Comp get out a double kill, which just ended the game. Misfits ended the game after. Rogue ended the game after that, despite Misfits getting the Baron. Excuse me, God. Trimby was my MVP. Started out the game strong, getting that advantage in bot lane, and he had high kill participation for most of the game. Game 2 between XL and Team BDS. Team BDS clearly comes out with their first victory in the LEC. It was the number 7 and number 8 teams against each other. XL would be the first one to strike by diving top lane. However, that would put them up 1k gold. BDS would then take the Hextech Drake on the other side of the rift. XL would end up extending their lead 40 CS in the bot lane afterwards by the 15-minute mark. That was kind of like the big difference in the early game that put XL ahead, was the fact that their bot lane were just completely outplaying the Team BDS bot lane. It wasn't even close. BDS would then take a Drake of their own and then fight in mid and win 2-0. XL would then take a Drake themselves. BDS then had a 2-1 win in mid, where Nuclear Int had a double kill. This is where things started getting interesting for BDS when they were fighting, their team fighting. Their 5v5 was capable of competing with XL's. At 24 minutes, they tied 4-4. The game was tied 4-4. There weren't many kills going on, and XL were up only 1k gold at the time, which that's a good indicator of why there's not a lot of black in this grouping here, was because there weren't many fights going on really. At 26 minutes, XL would then take a Chemtech Drake again. BDS would win the fight afterwards 2-0 though, which then turned right into a Baron. That Baron resulted in XL then responding, winning 3-1 in a fight where Nuke Duck had a double kill, which then eliminated that Baron for the most part. At 30 minutes now, it was 7-4, and 7-7, and Syncroft was 2-0-4 for BDS. BDS, and Patrick was 3-2-3 for XL, the two carries in this game at the moment. Syncroft was showing that he really can pilot the Xin Zhao well, following up yesterday's performance where he looked good. 34 minutes, BDS would take the Baron at a 2k gold lead at the time, and then just turn that right into a win. They were able to get a double kill with Syncroft to end it at 36 minutes. That's why he's the MVP. When push came to shove in the late game, he showed up and finished off the opponent. But it wasn't a very high killing game. 22 kills total. That's less than half of that. Which I'm going to get to now. This thing is a wild one between SK and Mad Lions, 53 minutes long. Mad Lions are supposed to be the best team in my opinion, in the LEC, and SK is one of the worst, but you could have flipped a coin like 10 times in this game, and you would have, you would have not been feeling very confident in your result on who would win when you flipped it, to be honest, because it back and forth. Both teams traded kills early on. They were aggressive. Arma would get a solo kill in top lane on Gen X. By 10 minutes, Mad were up 2-1, 1.5k gold. SK would then take 2 Drakes. I screwed up. They would take a Hextech and a Cloud Drake in the early game. Then SK started focusing mid lane to try and create a gap in the mid lane. By 20 minutes, Mad were up 4-3. El Yoya was 3-1-0, and Mad had a small gold lead. 1 second. Sorry about that. Mad would then take a gold lead at that point. SK then went to Soul Point and then took the Chemtech Soul without a lot of... there was some contention there both times by Mad Lions, but they couldn't get past them. The first time SK won the fight 4-0, and the second time they won Certus, who becomes the MVP of this game. He had a double kill in the second one to secure the Chemtech Soul, which then turned into a Baron, which SK then expanded to a 4k lead, with Certus also getting another double kill on the Corki. 29 minutes, Mad Lions would then strike back, stopping them from ending. Unforgiven had a double kill in that on Jin, in that, scuffle. 32 minutes, this is where things, SK confused me. At 32 minutes, they had an ace and did nothing with it of significance, which then resulted in the back and forth affair we had for the next 18 minutes, where we had 3 Elders taken. Both teams attempted to do something with an Elder and a Baron at the same time and didn't do anything with it. First, Mad Lions did. They got up in gold to 3k, and now at 38 minutes, gold was close. SK were up 20-15, and the 2 significant players were Unforgiven at 7-0-3 and Certus at 10-3-8. So these 2 players were the key factors in this game, but neither one could do enough to get their team to win with a Elder and a Baron at the same time. At 34 minutes, Mad tried it. They couldn't do it. At 40 minutes, SK tried it. They couldn't do it. Mad Lions would then Mad Lions would make a stand again at 43 minutes to stop SK, because SK did push hard. 49 minutes, as Mad Lions tried. I think I've said that. This game was so back and forth. It's hard to really... I wouldn't watch this game. This game was ridiculous. Mad Lions would take a Baron at 48 minutes. However, they couldn't do anything with it. At 53 minutes, the game was decided. SK had an ace where Gen X had a triple kill. And that was the game. 29-24. The final, not the final game, the next game on our slate was G2 Esports versus Team Astralis. G2 did a little bit different things in this game. They ran a Seraphine Pike bot lane. Astralis was playing Trundle, which I'm not surprised. Zanzara, I said that in my power rankings. He does weird crap, and that's the only way they win games. And in this one, they came close because of the weird crap. So, there was a kill in bot lane early, and G2 also would then execute on that with a 2v2 kill of their own. Their young bot lane and the Seraphine Pike was probably a little weird. Astralis probably wasn't expecting it. They weren't prepared. And in the early game, G2 got out to a lead. Astralis would take the first 2 Drakes and an Infernal and a Hextech. And the teams were trading kills back and forth. But G2 were slowly but steadily increasing their gold lead from 3k to 5k. And the next thing you knew, it was, 7k when they had the Baron, despite the kill score being 5-5 at 20 minutes. And the teams were back and forth. These fights are tied for the most part. Zanzara was a key factor in a couple for Astralis. At 19 minutes, he had a double kill. At 21 minutes, he'd have a double kill as well. The Baron got G2 up to 7k, like I said, at 22 minutes. Astralis was able to stop them and make a stand. G2 would then take the Cloud Soul in the next two rotations of the Drake, where Astralis really didn't do much to stop them. In the last case, they tried and failed, losing the fight 2-0. At 35 minutes, G2 would then take a Baron again, and end as it was contested, pushing their gold lead to 10K. I mean, despite this kill score being 14-13, G2 were really just the better players. Like, they weren't maybe winning in the team fights, but just in wave management and increasing their lead. I mean, they had a massive item advantage, and they didn't have a kill advantage. Like, that was pretty crazy to see 10K gold with a team that didn't have more kills than their opponent. I mean, G2 comes out on top, beats Astralis. I mean, I don't know if G2 is going to run Seraphine Pike again. I mean, in the early game it was okay, but I don't think against a better team like maybe Rogue or one of these two, Vitality or Fnatic, they're going to get away with that. Nevertheless, Broken Blade was my MVP. I know I didn't mention him at all, but he had a massive lead in top, which allowed G2 to take Drakes and focus on the bottom side of the Rift. He won the Graves Kennen matchup big time over White Knight, and I dealt a lot of damage during the skirmishes they had to get Baron control and Soul Drake Pit control and things of that nature. The final game was between Vitality and Fnatic. It was the highlight of the week, highlight of the day. The game started out slow. Nothing happened until Fnatic took a Infernal Drake. 6 minutes, Vitality tried to dive Wonder, in which case Wonder outplayed the hell out of them on Gragas. Fnatic ended up getting out to a 3-1 lead as a result. Wonder had a double kill. The teams would then jostle for position and trade kills back and forth. At 10 minutes, Vitality had a small gold lead, which they then turned into a Drake, which when they won 2-0, they won a team fight 2-0 as part of getting the Hextech Drake. 15 minutes, Vitality was up 6-4, 3.5K gold lead, and Alphari was 3-1-1. Now, I didn't mention Alphari. They tried to dive Wonder and failed, and Alphari died. However, they continued to try and get Alphari ahead, in which case, obviously, he was ahead, 3-1-1. That didn't make a difference in the end. They lost the game, and Wonder is my MVP because, I mean, that outplay was incredible and set the tone for the game. Fnatic would take an Ocean Drake after 15 minutes. Vitality would get a double kill by Selfmade, and then Fnatic would then push the envelope, and Fnatic would push the envelope, go after Vitality when Vitality was trying to take Baron pretty much on spawn, and won 3-1, getting them out of there. And also, this allowed Fnatic to then roll right into an Ocean Drake, which they went to Soul Point. There was a team fight in mid afterwards where Humanoid had a double kill to match Selfmade's. This was the first time I noticed a LeBlanc doing anything really today in any of the regions. LeBlanc hasn't been doing much of anything, and Humanoid got a few kills on it today. Fnatic would then take the Drake at the Baron at 29 minutes, winning that fight 2-0, which then gave them an advantage with this Baron to be able to push lanes, utilize the power play, get an Ocean Soul, and Fnatic would then tie the game up as a result because, like I said, Vitality had a gold lead in this early portion of the game and into the mid-game, getting these kills, especially when like Alphari was 3-1-1, Selfmade had that double kill, they were getting advantages, and they lost it when team fighting actually began. Fnatic's composition began to, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not develop. It's well, whatever. They had a late game composition, and it came to fruition in the later portions of the game. Fnatic would finally win a fight 4-0 at 30 minutes, which won the game and ended it 16-12. Like I said, this is my LEC coverage. I'm going to be doing LCS in a minute. Thank you for watching this portion, and I'm about to change boards to go to the LCS. Hello and welcome to the second half of my LCS and LEC review for January 14th, I believe. This is the morning after I watched the Buffalo Bills game last night until later. So I had watched these games, but I didn't film this until now. Please ignore the smudges. Either way, you know the deal if you've come here before. If you don't, I am going to go over the notes of the game, highlight the games for you, and then give you, kind of like a spark notes or just a, quick recap of each game, so you don't have to spend 40 minutes watching a game or 36 minutes or whatever. I do this for all 4 major regions every day. The LPL plays every day, so I will be making a video every day. I also do weekly power rankings, which you'll see up here. I think I misrepresented Dignitas, but we'll see what happens. But currently they don't have River in their lineup. Team Liquid didn't run their full roster because of visa issues. So we have a couple teams once again in this group that don't have a full roster. Nevertheless, the first game was between Dig and TL. TL killed them. It was 11-4 final score. Hans Sama was the MVP. They cracked open the base by 18 minutes. To put this into perspective, it was a crushing win. TL started by ganking mid lane, getting Bjergsen involved in his return to the LCS, while playing anyways. XU would then clean up Santorin afterwards. 1-1 team fight in top. There's an exchange of kills. Team Liquid would take the Chemtech Drake afterwards, and by 15 minutes, TL was up 3-2. Bjergsen had 2 kills, and they're up 3.5k gold. Like you can see here, there's not many notes because the game was 11-4. There wasn't a lot going on. Team Liquid would then take the Mountain Drake. They're up 6-2 and 7k gold by 20 minutes. Then they just took a Baron and cleaned house. Hans Sama with multiple kills in that final fight after taking Baron, and they ended right off a Baron because mid lane was cracked open. They didn't need to really build up multiple waves in other lanes because, they had the game in hand already. It was I immediately thought to myself, wow, that's the cleanest win I've seen all year out of anybody in any region. Not to mention the fact that they didn't even have Core JJ in the lineup at the time. They had the backup support Isla in there. So, and then you'll see these 2 results. They swapped bot laners in game 3 to allow Core to play and used Yeon as the ADC. It wasn't Yeon's fault that they lost, but nevertheless, they lost when he was in there. But we'll get to that in a minute. The second game was between CLG and IMT. I would say that I almost want to swap these teams after this game and watching it. IMT looked flat, and the bot lane of CLG looked great with Luger and Poom. Luger became the MVP of this game. CLG got out to an early lead with a 2v2 kill in bot lane. They then would ensure that they would get ahead even more so by diving down there, and Luger ended up being Luger ended up having 2 kills by this point, a double kill actually, and they're up 3-2. At 7 minutes, they exchanged kills in mid lane 1-1. IMT would then take the Rift Herald at 9 minutes to put themselves ahead in gold. CLG were up 5-4 in kills at 10 minutes, and then IMT were taking the Drake. So IMT were more focused on macro decisions and taking objectives, whereas CLG were just trying to get kills and outplaying the dives and attempts by IMT to create some chaos. IMT would then outplay a dive at 12 minutes, 3-1, which put them ahead for a short time again. However, in the end, Luger was up 2,000 gold over Wild Turtle in bot lane, and that was like the difference. That's why he's MVP. He had such a lead that IMT could not overcome that. CLG would then take the mountain as a result without a priority. 20 minutes, CLG's up 8-7 despite IMT being ahead CLG was up in gold, 2k. Luger was 4-0-2 and just hard carrying this game on Jin. No, he wasn't on Jin. He was on Jinx. It was Jinx Lulu against Jin Yumi. So 21 minutes. Palafox would have a double kill. Palafox would have a double kill 21 minutes to get a Baron. In which case, CLG then turned that into a 5k gold lead. And that was that. Shortly after, before the Baron was even up, CLG would then ace IMT 5-0. Palafox and Luger both with double kills. The final score is 15-7. Another quick game that was only 23 minutes long. We had 3 of those go on today, which thankfully, that made this a lot easier. Game 3 was the highlight of the day to me. Team Liquid versus Evil Geniuses. I can't wait to see how Evil Geniuses look against a full TL roster, but nevertheless, this game ended up going the longest of the 5, 39 minutes, 21-14, definitely the bloodiest of the 5 games. So in the top, this game was decided in top lane between Sion and Gnar. Bwipo would solo kill Impact early on, and then both teams would spend time up there trying to dive and gank and things of that nature. By 10 minutes, the game was pretty much a slugfest up there. Impact would return the favor at 10 minutes, solo killing Bwipo. And the only thing that was noticeable on any other part of the Rift at the time was that the bot lanes exchanged kills at 10 minutes. EG would take the first Drake. EG was up 5-4 when this was all said and done, and the chaos was kind of settling down in top lane at 15 minutes. TL would win the first significant team fight for Rift Herald. Then they would turn that into Drake, and by 20 minutes, TL were up 8-7, and Yeon was 4-1-1 with a 2.5k gold lead for TL. Like I said, he wasn't the reason why they lost, but it was unfortunate that they lost. I mean, compared to when Isla was in there, into the support role. EG would then begin to prevent Drakes, which is where the game swapped. And this is why Inspired became my MVP. EG would take the Ocean Drake, and then they would win 4-1. And then there was a skirmish in mid at 24 minutes that went 1-1. And then if you notice here, if you can see the coloration, we have blue, purple, orange. The only fights that were happening in the latter parts of the game, in the end game, were around objectives. There weren't many significant skirmishes to note. 26 minutes, Inspired had a double kill as part of a 4-2 team fight win for EG to continue to lock down Drakes and get to Soul Point. Excuse me. TL would respond at 29 minutes, taking... Excuse me, gosh, I coughed and sick. But 29 minutes, TL take the Baron, up 3k gold afterwards, which wasn't enough in the end, clearly. EG would then ace TL 32 minutes to get the Ocean Soul. In that fight, Impact had Inspired had a double kill. Getting ahead of myself. At 35 minutes, EG would then take the Baron themselves and be up 4k. The final fight happened 39 minutes where EG decided to try and backdoor as TL took the Elder Drake. They would fail on that backdoor originally. They couldn't stop the backs and things like that. So EG just had to brute force it down bot lane and won. Danny, I think, had multiple kills in that end chaos mess. In the end, EG won 21-14. They broke the Nexus. Inspired was my MVP because he had double kills in these two fights to create a difference and ensure that the team got the Ocean Soul, which ended up winning them the game when they needed the heals at the end in the last team fight to try and backdoor. The next game was between IMT and Dignitas. Both teams were 0-1 from earlier in the day. IMT would set the tone by diving top at 3 minutes. Dig would take the Mountain Drake. Dig would then win a team fight 2-1. And at 10 minutes, Dig were up. Now, Dig ended up winning this game because Blue played a big difference during this game on Zoe. He looked much better than he did in the first game where he looked kind of out of place and outplayed by Bjergsen. Probably had something to do with their ganking mid right away, but nevertheless, Dig would take the Ocean Drake, TL would make pick plays to respond, and by 15 minutes, Dig were up 4-3, and Blue was 2-0-1. So, IMT were making plays and getting pick plays and things of that nature, but Blue was executing his opponents, and on Zoe, once Zoe starts getting ahead, it's just a snowball. Dig would then already get to Soul Point before 20 minutes because they had the mountain here in Ocean, so they were at Hextech Soul Point before 20. That was contested, but they won 1-0 at 17 minutes. Dig would then win another team fight in mid at 19 minutes to kind of further their lead. Now things got interesting after 20 minutes in the mid game. IMT would then ace them 5-2. Revenge and Wild Turtle had a double kill to prevent the Hextech Soul. They would then prevent a Hextech Soul again, 2-0. And despite XU carrying the jungle for Dig, definitely he was outplaying Xerxes in this one, despite being so young and inexperienced and Xerxes having so much experience. So at 29 minutes, the game was decided. This is where Blue actually really solidified his MVP status to me in this game. He stole the Baron when all things seemed lost for Dig because IMT started stacking these Drakes and preventing the game to, making the game go longer and longer. That brought, by Dig doing that and stealing the Baron, they were able to even out the gold, because throughout this game, IMT were out farming Dig. Despite being down in kills, they were up in farm. And at 32 minutes with the game close, the two carries were Blue and Wild Turtle. Blue was 4-2-7. Wild Turtle was 4-0-3. At 31 minutes, IMT would actually go to Soul Point anyways. And in that fight, Blue would clean up afterwards, getting a double kill, which then just kind of turned the game back for Dig. At 36 minutes, Dig would win a fight 4-1, and actually Neo had a double kill in that fight, not Blue. And then Neo had a double kill in the last fight to end the game for Dig at 36 minutes. The final score is 19-13. I know yellow's probably hard to see, so I don't really know what I'm going to do with Dig unless I write him in black. But I don't want to use black too often. Nevertheless, 19-13, Blue was my MVP. Without him stealing that Baron, I don't think they win the game. Excuse me again. Last game was between CLG and Evil Geniuses. Both were 1-0. This was a quick game once again. The biggest blowout of the day. It was 24-5 when it was all said and done. It was a slow first 6 minutes. EG took the first Drake. However, Impact would then solo kill Jenkins. And then at 11 minutes, they would win gank mid. At 12 minutes, one of the bright spots for CLG in this game was Palafox solo killing Jojo Pune. Jojo is going to be the weakness on EG. I expect teams to try and take advantage of him all season long. That's the only thing keeping them maybe from being a top 3 team, solid top 3 team in my opinion. I think they are great in every other role, which they showed in this one. EG would then take a Chemtech Drake, make some more pick plays. At 15 minutes, Impact would get a double kill. And at this point, EG was already up 7-3. Impact was 4-0-1, and they had a solid gold lead built up. CLG would then steal the Ocean Drake, but EG would win that fight 4-1 afterwards. Impact getting another double kill. Impact was the MVP because, he dominated this game on Gwen. He gapped the heck out of Jenkins in top lane. He looked great on the Gwen, actually. I expect the Gwen to be something that he rolls with quite often this season, and people might have to ban it. I can't wait to see him play against, probably play against Bwipo again, but in a matchup where they are more skilled instead of Sion Nar. Nevertheless, 20 minutes afterwards, EG is up 15-5. Impact is 7-1-5, and they have a 10k gold lead. So 20 minutes, the game's over pretty much. A 10k gold lead without a Baron is pretty much a death sentence. 22 minutes, EG takes the Baron, and then they end the game afterwards. Danny had a triple kill and the ace to end it. 24-5, EG probably looked the best out of anybody. 2-0, it's easy to say, but both games they looked really dominant. Because, even in this one, they were up in the early game. They lost a couple Drakes in one fight for Rift Herald that put them behind for a little bit, but afterwards Inspired was able to carry them and get what had to be done. So I believe that EG looked like the best today. But then again, they were the team with the full roster. I am curious how TL looks with the full roster against them. So we're going to cover LCS and LEC again later on today or Sunday, depending on when you're watching this. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more coverage of all 4 major regions in this format. If you like it, subscribe. I will be doing this every day, including my power rankings. If you notice at the top, I do have all the teams ranked. And every week I'm going to change those rankings, obviously, and make a separate video for that. So thank you for watching, and constructive criticism is good criticism.